Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm here to give you guys my Fear the Walking Dead review, Season 4, Episode 7, and I'm just going to jump right into this. This episode is called The Wrong Side of Where You Are Now, and this episode came out on um, June 3rd, 2018, and I'm just going to start off by talking about this. Um, I did enjoy this episode, but it was a little bit illogical, especially towards the end, but I'll get into that. But pretty much this was the exact same format as the last episode where um, it had two storylines. One was flashbacks and then the other was the present. And I'm just going to talk about the flashbacks first since, they technically happened first because that's the flashbacks. One thing, though, I didn't really like about this episode a whole lot is that it was pretty much um, the entire episode was flashbacks and pretty much only like about 5 minutes of it was filmed in the present, or took place in the present. I kind of would have tried to spread that out, um, because while the stuff in the present really mattered, um, it I thought it would have been better if we could have had a mixture of both. I think they should have stuck with the same format as they had for episodes 3 and 4. Um, Obviously not episode 5 because that storyline required most of that episode to be flashbacks. But I wish they had kept that same format where they would show some stuff in the present and then they show some stuff in the past. Um, but let's talk about this. So, um, I'll just start off by where it started in the flashback. It looks like the stadium is actually is hopeful. Everybody's planting, crops, and stuff, so that way they can survive. And Nick's really happy about this, and Madison's really happy about this, and then Charlie arrives and has some information to tell um, Nick and everybody else. Um, so there was that. Um, Sorry, I got distracted. So they take him over, and we find out that Mel and his brother Ennis, or Enos, I forget how you pronounce his name, got into a fight over the stadium, and um, pretty much they drove their OV into one of the infected, and he ended up getting injured really bad. So everybody's debated on whether or not they should take him back and take care of him. Nick and Alicia don't want to because they're worried that this is going to be a trap, just like the same thing that happened when they took Charlie in. And Madison wants to because it's the right thing to do. And pretty much they don't want to just leave him for dead. And if they try something, they'll come back to it. Um, so they take him in, and when he wakes up, he's chained to the hospital bed. But it really wasn't much of a hospital bed, but you get the idea. And we find out that he has cracked ribs and I think a concussion. But if he had a concussion later on, he drives in the episode, and he wouldn't be able to drive at all as well as he was if he had a concussion. But um, I'm not gonna. And he would have passed out before he was without far he got. So I don't think he had a concussion. But he had some other injury. But Mel warns them that Ennis is planning on an attack at the stadium, and we find out that he's been collecting all of the infected like they normally do, but this time it's like a lot of infected, and Madison and everybody wants to be prepared for a fight, so um, she tears apart Naomi's room and uses the wood to block it, as like a blockade, and they say that nobody can leave the stadium unless Madison knows about it, and Mel and Naomi are by themselves, and um, Naomi goes to give him some sort of antibiotic, but then Mel breaks out of the handcuffs and holds her a knife against her throat, and wants Naomi to take him to Charlie, but she punches him in the ribs, and because his ribs are bruised, it hurts. I don't know why he would try doing this. I don't know why he thought he was going to get much success because of that reason. She easily could have just done something like that, so I don't know what he was trying to do. But then he uses psychology to get Naomi to be on his side in a way by saying that this place really isn't that safe, that this place is going to fall. Because pretty much Mel wants to get out of there because he knows this attack's going to happen. He doesn't want to be anywhere near it when it does happen. Um, so he offers Naomi for them to join him, and she would be safe and all that. And Naomi then later on in the episode goes to confront Madison about this, and Madison, Naomi tries to convince Madison to leave, and Madison doesn't want to because she wanted to build this place to give her kids some sort of life and doesn't want them to be consistently on the run. But Naomi tells Madison that you may have to disappoint your kids sometimes. And I did kind of like this, I guess, because um, they both have different perspectives on how to take care of kids. And obviously, Naomi went through a similar situation with her daughter, as we found out in the last episode. So I kind of liked that Naomi was trying to be the voice of reason, and Madison just wasn't having any of that. And Madison gets upset about this because Mel, pretty much said all this stuff towards to Naomi. So she forces him to leave, forces everybody to open the gate, which was a really dumb decision considering what happens later on in the episode. Um, and um, yeah, pretty much Mel tries to tell him that this place is gonna fall, and you guys are trying to hold on to something that's not worth holding on to. And Madison tells him not to think about what they said. So then what happens is Nick, Luciana, um, Alicia, and I think that's it, all tell Charlie that this happened. So Charlie wants a walkie-talkie to make sure that he's okay because they revealed that they stuck a walkie-talkie in his car, and she radios into him, but he's not responding that much because obviously he's injured. He's got injured ribs. So she wants Nick and Alicia to go out and get them. Nick and Alicia agree to do this. Um, and Victor opens the gate and obviously keeps this a secret from Madison. So they go get him, but then they find out that all the trucks are about to invade the stadium, so they have to go back before anything gets bad. And I think Nick and Alicia, when Madison found out they were gone, Nick and Alicia radio into her to warn her that this is going to happen, and she sees the invasion, and at first she thinks it's Nick and Alicia, but it's not them. And Nick and Alicia wait out there because they don't want Madison to open the gate because it could be a trick. So what happens is everybody lets out the infected at the back of the U-Hauls. What didn't make any sense about this was and then what ends up happening is so Nick and Alicia can't drive through quick when they open the gate. They set their path of where they could drive on fire into the stadium. Now, obviously, there's a couple of logic flaws that make this really not make any sense. The people within the stadium had weapons. Maybe they wouldn't have killed all of them, but they easily could have killed all of the infected. Um, Nick and Alicia could have just driven away, and everybody, and obviously find shelter somewhere else instead of just staying there and being trapped inside the vehicle. Or Nick and Alicia. I don't think they had a gun actually, so that option's out. So yeah, it was really stupid. Um, so that kind of made this episode stupid in a way because they didn't do any of that stuff. So obviously, Madison wants to go out there and save everybody. Obviously, Alicia and Nick because they're her children, and when mother's instinct kicks in, this sort of stuff happens. So, what ends up happening is they're gonna get an irrigation truck and do something we don't really know because we didn't. That's gonna probably factor in the next episode. So obviously we're supposed to feel bad, and that part was well done. it was just really kind of hard to buy into this flashback stuff anymore too, because they're trying to like shine a lot of screen time to Nick and make us care about his character, but he was already dead. But he's already dead, so it's kind of like, why get invested into someone's character that's not going to be there for the long term? And that's exactly how I felt about that. Same thing with Mel. They were trying to build him up as a big villain, but obviously earlier in the episode, which I'll talk about in a few minutes, he dies, which I thought was kind of weird. So that's kind of what I thought. So then what happens is, back in the present, um, when Jin's been shot at, um, Morgan and Naomi, take him away from all the gunfire and stuff, so that way they can attend to John. I think I said Jim by accident. It's John. And um, everybody's getting into a shootout, and Naomi wants to go get the medical supplies out of um, Mel's truck, but Mel's driving away, so Alicia shoots and blows up the truck before she can get to it, and pretty much we're supposed to have assumed that this killed Mel, and Alicia is very confused about Naomi's intentions, and Naomi reveals that she really wasn't with him all along, but she's just not listening to any of that. And then I think Alicia just gets into a shootout with somebody else. So that, oh no, Naomi attacks Alicia, and something happens where they don't really get into an altercation. I don't really remember. And um, they have to go find a different place to get the medical supplies because pretty much Alicia destroyed them. So Morgan needs Althea to give him a ride, but Althea wants to film this story because it's really good material. But Morgan says that this story's pretty much over, but John's life isn't worth getting this story. So Althea offers to give them a ride, and Alicia has all that group at gunpoint, but um, Althea threatens to kill them with the UTC or ULZ, or however you say that, weapons that are in the SWAT truck. But so of course, there's Alicia to surrender, and Morgan offers to save Charlie because Mel's dead. Well, we at least we thought so at the time, and he saves her, and they all go to the stadium to get medical supplies. And um, back before Alicia, Victor, and Luciana are about to leave and go, I think, go to the stadium to kill Naomi. But they see Mel pop out of the truck, and pretty much he's not dead because I think we were supposed to have thought so, but he wasn't dead because he wasn't making like a sound that an infected would make. So Alicia, before she executes Mel, wants to know how long Naomi and her have been in cahoots with each other, but then he doesn't really answer, probably because he can't answer, because he was just in an explosion. So Alicia just is like, screw it, and kills him anyways. And then um, Charlie wants to know why Morgan saved him, and Morgan said because this fight has to stop somewhere, and your life isn't worth risking. So it is kind of nice to hear Morgan be the voice of reason. It looks like, at least in the present version, he's kind of the main character of the group, which is obviously I'm okay with. I actually wouldn't mind if he became the main character because um, the main character is supposed to be like somebody that's like found as a hero and that everybody can relate to, and I think everybody can relate to Morgan. Um, he's got very good morals. He's always trying to get be some sort of like an influence to everybody. I really wouldn't complain if Morgan became the main character of Fear the Walking Dead. I don't know if that's going to happen, but obviously because Madison's still in the show, but I wouldn't complain if he became like one of the main characters of the show. Um, because everybody likes Morgan, obviously, because he's pretty much been involved with the Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead series pretty much since the beginning. Obviously, not the whole time, but and everybody really liked his character in season 6, 7, and 8 of The Walking Dead, and I would actually like it if he became the main character, or at least one of the main characters, because Nick's gone, um, pretty much, so someone else has to fill that void, and I think Morgan could fill that void. Well, obviously that depends on if he goes back to The Walking Dead, so we'll have to wait and see how that goes down. So, um, but anyhow, so then they finally get to the stadium, and what I liked about how they did this was when they got to the stadium, they showed because the vultures arrived in like an ice cream truck, and then when it cut to the present, we saw that the ice cream truck was all destroyed. We don't actually know what happened, but when they go inside the stadium, they see that the stadium is just filled with the infected, and we're left questioning how Thea and everybody are going to get out of that situation and get to the medical supplies so they can save John. Um, I liked this though, and I thought the episode was good. But like I said, I think a lot of people crap on this episode because the critics like this. This is like one of those occasions where the critics like the episode. It gets a positive reviews. It got its 75% approval rating. And it gets a 7.17 out of 10 based on 8 reviews. So that's a pretty good review. It didn't do as strong in the ratings though. It had a little bit of a drop. It only got 1.97 million viewers. But the people on IMDb really don't like this episode that much. They think it's like one of the weakest episodes, um, of the season thus far. They gave it I think it was a 6.9 or a 6.7 out of 10, and they pretty much just kind of said about the same stuff I did, that it was illogical, because the reviews, a lot of people gave it 3s and 2s and 1s out of 10s. The highest rating is a 7. I haven't seen, um, yeah, a lot of the fans really don't, you know, like, the episode. It does have, but I will say though, I like the episode. I think it's a good episode, but not a great episode. I do think it has some nice action in it, in the beginning, and I liked, Morgan's role in the episode. And I did like the stuff they did in the flashbacks. But like I said, I thought it was a little bit too much flashbacks. The only reason I come up with was why they're probably doing as many flashbacks that they are at the moment is because, um, they're gonna blow off the storyline fairly soon, and they don't want to. And since the mid-season finale is the next episode, they don't really want to, um, you know, um, they want to get it. They want to just get all that stuff out of the way. So yeah, that's that. But overall, good episode. I'll give it a B minus. Really didn't have many issues with it. But that's pretty much the end of this review. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, or this review, whatever. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please make sure you guys like, comment, and share this video so people will watch it. Make sure you guys subscribe to this channel for more content and click on the bell. So that way, every time I upload a video, you guys get the notifications for it. And that's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later. Also, make sure you guys do the same thing for my CM Brothers YouTube channel.